Welcome back to the Black Carnivore podcast. I'm Ade, otherwise known as Black Carnivore. And on this channel, I talk about getting healthy using a carnivore diet. Lots of people have reversed disease like diabetes and high blood pressure and have lost tons of weight and generally gotten their life back eating this way. And I want to help you do that too. So today I have a really cool guest. His name is Frank Moore. And he has just done an amazing job at, turning around his health and his weight and really rebuilding his body. And we're going to talk about it all with him today. And I'm just excited to bring the story to you. So let's jump right in. So Frank, can you tell me more about, where did you begin? Where does your weight and health journey begin?
Eating? Oh. I thought about it the other night, and I can remember when 4th or 5th grade, I went to summer camp in the Poconos, and the first breakfast we had, I remember getting like pancakes and some bacon and eggs, and then I was done eating, and I went and took the plate up and, threw it in the trash and sat back down. And one of the counselors said, "That's it? You don't want any more?" And I looked at him like, "What you mean? We can have more?" So I went up and got some more, and then I got some more. And then every meal, I pretty much stuffed my face for the whole week, breakfast, lunch, dinner, because it was just there. And that's when I could remember actually starting to eat. And then after that, like every time you get a couple cents or a quarter, if you run to the store, get a little cake or something, or some penny candy or something like that. And then it just went from there. Just kept eating. And then, I got involved in sports. I tried to play sports when I was younger, like like little league football, stuff like that. But I was kind of the heavier kid, but playing with the older kids. So then when it got to a certain point, I was too heavy to play, so I had to wait till high school. And I think playing sports pretty much saved me, because if I was just one of the kids that just didn't do anything and just kept eating and eating and eating, I could have easily been like 400 coming out of high school. But I played some football, so I was active and had a little bit of discipline and, learned how to lift weights, work out, all that stuff. So I think that helped. So I always say that I've always had muscles. They were just hidden by all the fat. So that's pretty much the start of it.
So when you say that you had discipline in high school, does that mean that you were trying to control your weight, by not eating as much, or?
Not really disciplined as far as my weight, like, because I didn't really care what I ate. I would eat whatever. I wasn't like health conscious or anything like that. Whatever they served in school, I ate. Whatever my mom brought from the grocery store, I ate. And so it wasn't really like I need some protein, or I need a shake, or I need this, or I need that. It was just food, eat it. Simple as that. I'm hungry. And that was it.
So then once you got out of high school, what happened?
I think when I was out of high school, I was 288, 290 when I left high school. Went to college on a full scholarship for football. Stayed in college. I don't think I went over 300 in college. Like I was in around the 280, 290 range in college. They kind of made me keep my weight down, but I was not a little lazy. I was probably the laziest one. Like I would be the one that would be doing conditioning, and I would just get tired and just like, oh, I'm done. I stopped. Like I only worked out because they made me. It wasn't like I was voluntarily doing this. It was more of all right, you got to come up here or you're going to get in trouble, And I, I would report to camp a lot of times. If I went home for the summer out of shape, they would put me at this table and they would have a sign on it that says fat table. so I would go.
I'm sorry. This was at school they did that?
Yeah, this was in college. This is like college football. So
Wow.
Our table, like some guy we had to sit, it was called the fat table. So you go up and get your food. And I remember getting a salad. So, I thought healthy, I'd go get a salad, but I'm putting everything on it. It's got like the bacon bits and the cheese and the eggs and the peas and just all of the dressings. And so the strength coach started to like pick things off of the salad. And then he just took the whole thing from me and said, just start over. And then
oh my God.
That was college.
So sorry.
Yeah, so it was kind of painful, just, soreness from just playing and hitting and lifting. But that was, pretty much it in a nutshell. Everybody always trying to push me to do something. Like, I wish I knew the things I know now. If I knew them back then, like, it would have been a whole different story. Like, it's just a whole different mindset, a whole different, because I was pretty much clueless. It was just like you just show up and do what you got to do. Like, I didn't really prepare for much unless they made me prepare for it. I didn't voluntarily do much of anything.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So that, but that activity kept your weight sort of and your health under control.
Mhm.
So what happened when you got out of school?
When I got out of school, I played arena football for like 9 years. And then pretty much each year that I played, like, I pretty much gained weight each year. Like, I came in at like 290, and then the next year I'm around 300. And then by the time I got done my last year, I was playing at like 340 something, 345, 350 probably. Like, there's a clip that I found on YouTube of one of the games, and I had dyed my hair blonde and stuff. We were playing in an arena bowl, and I just looked so swollen. Like, I was just, I mean, when I look back on it, I was just huge. But when you're living in that moment, you don't really see yourself like that. Like, you don't, you're big, but you're not like, damn, he's just
Mhm.
huge, like a monster. So,
No, definitely not a monster.
and it was some funny times. Like, I remember going out to eat with one of my best friend in college. Like, his mom and dad came and picked us up from college, took us to a nice restaurant, and I walk in there, and it's like, a lot of Caucasian people in the restaurant, and everybody's staring at me. And then I said to his mom, I said, "Why are all these people staring at me?" And then she said, "Did you ever think that it was because you're so big?" Like, because I was just a
Oh.
big boy. Like, and I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Mhm.
true. That could be it." Because I was kind of big, like huge. But
Well, how
yes,
tall are you? I don't
about
really.
6'3", six
Oh,
three. My
gotcha.
heaviest weight was around 380, 378. I remember seeing 378 on the scale at the doctor's office. And I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, I'm 22 pounds away from 400. Like, that was like eye opening. But, I lost weight and then gained weight back. Like, and then I think I lost 100 pounds. Probably this is my fourth time. And it's like, and then that's not even counting all of the times where you'll start and lose like 30 or 40 pounds or 50 pounds. And to me, losing weight, my goals would be like, oh, I want to get down to 275 or down to 280. Like, that was losing weight. And I just
Hmm.
never, that's as far as I would go sometimes. And I made a lot of mistakes. I think I had a lot of failures, and I think all of those failures kind of got me to where I'm at right now, because you learn from them. I mean, that's why some people will ask me, they'll just, "Oh, how did you lose weight?" or "How did you do this?" or "How did you do that?" Like, it doesn't matter how I did it, because I could tell you exactly how I did it, but that doesn't mean that you're going to do it or you're going to do that like what I did. Like, or even if you do exactly the same thing, you won't have the same outcome, because you didn't have the body that I had before I gained the weight. So it's going to be different for you.
Hmm.
So it's,
Well, I would definitely want to hear more about all of these different efforts to lose weight. But before we do that, I do have a couple of questions. So I'm sorry, I don't know
go ahead.
anything about sports. So what is the arena play,
Arena
and
football
what
is
was it like?
indoor.
Oh, okay, so you played for a team. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell everybody like what you did,
I
what you were playing?
started. I played arena football for a team in Hartford, Connecticut. That's where I met my first wife. And then that team, we went to Toronto after that for 2 years, and then I went to a team in Chicago for 5 years, Chicago Rush, and that's like, we run the Arena Bowl. I think Arena Bowl 20 or something like that. It was in Las Vegas, but yeah, I mean, it was professional football, but it wasn't the NFL. It was the AFL. Like, we didn't get millions of dollars, but you made a good living doing it.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed it. Did you? So, what was it like playing football at, you said your highest weight on your last year was like 340 or something. I mean, was it painful or did it make you better or what?
Well, it was more painful because I did have a knee injury my last season, so I didn't play that many. I think I played in like one game my last season, just because the coach was like, "Come on, Frank, can you just play this game?" Because the guy that was on the other team, they was worried about him or whatever. So I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll play." And I played, and I graded out my highest game ever playing, so I did pretty good. But it's just my knee was so shot that it was just like, if he knew that all he had to do was just come off the ball and just run straight into me, and I wouldn't be able to stop what he was doing, because he just seen me as so big, he didn't want to run into me. He just kept trying to go around me. But if he just would have pushed me, I probably would have fell over or something. But
Well,
he
good.
never
Thank
did.
goodness he didn't.
Yeah.
So, so after you stopped playing ball, what did you do after that?
I think I worked at, after that. Oh, so in between the seasons, I would work at Home Depot, like part-time seasonally. And then I think after I got done playing, I worked at Home Depot still and got another manufacturing job or something, then got laid off from there. And then I went to nursing school, like, and got my LPN certificate and passed my state license thing. And so I've been a nurse since what, 2010? Yeah. So that's what I've been doing since then. It's a nice
Awesome.
job.
That's
I like it.
great. Yeah, that's great. So it's great to have, some medical knowledge. I'd love to hear too of, what you think, about the science of all of this that we're doing.
What science?
Well, that's true.
I'm like still waiting on it. I'm like, I listen to a lot of videos. I watch a lot of, like, doctors' lectures and all of that stuff. Like and a lot of things that I listen to, it's like all you hear is this may or this might or this, we think it will. Like there's no definite answers for anything, and everybody has a disclaimer about everything. And it's just, you can't really listen to everybody because it's like they talk like they know what they're talking about, but then at the end of the day, it's like they're telling you that we really don't know. So it's very confusing. So it's like you got to try to filter through it all and then try to go with things that kind of make sense. So, I mean, I listen to, pretty much everybody. Like I'm listening to everything and everybody, every side. And then I take stuff from here, I take stuff from there, and I bring it all in, and then you figure out what works for you.
So all of these years, you said you had gained and lost 100 pounds for like 4 times. And also, you had gained and lost and gained and lost. So what was going on? I mean, why do you think you were gaining weight, and why was it so difficult for you to keep it off?
It's a very simple answer. I remember when I lost this last time, when I lost weight, and I finally, because I never really got excited about losing the weight, because to me it was easy to lose the weight. The hard part was keeping the weight off. That was the hard part. Losing weight is simple. It's just you can starve yourself, you can run yourself into the ground and eat less and move more, but that doesn't work. So I don't know. It's like you try. Like I was pretty much, my simple answer to my mom was, I was just hungry all the time. Hungry. Simple. That's the simplest answer I could give for it, is I was hungry. And every time I remember losing weight one time where my goal was to lose weight for my daughter's quinceañero. And I tried to lose as much weight as possible before that date. I think it was like 3 or 4 months away. And what did I think I was on this regimen of eating like 700 or 800 calories a day, like religiously, the same food.
So you're 6'3", over 300 pounds, and you're eating 700 or 800 calories.
And I'm thinking, well, they say eat less, move. So I ate less, and I moved a lot more. Like I was eventually down to, like, I think I got into the 270s, high 260s, and I was trying to run like 4 or 5 miles a day. And it was just like, I don't even know how I got through it. Like eating the food that I was eating, like it was like just egg whites, um, chicken, and some broccoli, like the same tuna on the egg whites. Like, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, I was just pretty much, what is that thing they call now? That
Mhm.
protein
Protein
modified
sparing.
fasting. Yeah, protein
Hmm.
sparing. That's pretty much what I was doing for like 6 months straight. I'm
Wow.
surprised I didn't friggin' die or something. But I
Well,
was,
what
yeah,
was your
pretty much
mood like?
starving myself. My mood, I always felt it was always this haze I felt in my head of just tiredness. Like you just feel tired. But it was like when I get my mind set on something, I just keep on going. Just like I got my mind set on eating, I just kept on eating. So you take that energy and try to reverse it around and put it onto something else. But it's just the education of it. Like that was the missing part.
Hmm.
And then to find out why you're always hungry and stuff, that was once you figure that out, then it just becomes easy.
So all of that yo-yoing with your weight happened after you left the AFL, right?
Hmm. And I even, there's something I do regret is I even had the lap band surgery back in like 2010, 2010 or 2011. And I lost weight. Like I lost weight. I remember going through all of the little steps. They're like, you got to see a psychiatrist. You got to do this. And I'm like in my head, like, what the hell I got to see a psychiatrist for? Like, just put the damn thing on me. Just let me lose the weight and I'll be fine. But now I know it's not. All of this, like the dieting and the exercise and all of that means nothing if you're not mentally ready, like, because your brain is what's controlling everything. So if you're not ready, then it won't happen. You might lose the weight, but eventually it's going to break. You're going to break and it's just going to come back. But
Hmm.
now, like in my mind, it's like it's not work pretty much. It's not hard. And it's just different. The whole my mindset is just totally different than what it was any other time that I lost weight. And I think a big key in that is that I didn't set any goals as far as weight loss. I didn't have any event goals. I didn't have any weight goals. My only focus was to get healthy. And I told myself, like, you get healthy. And if you get healthy, everything else will just fall into place. Like, and I would sit there and talk myself, I would talk to myself in the mirror and pretty much tell myself everything that your friend would tell you if they were telling you the truth. But now I don't have to be mad at my friend for telling me all of this stuff because I know the truth. I know what I'm doing. I know if I'm lying to myself. And I just told myself, like, I can't believe you just wasted your whole life eating, like you just lazy as hell. Just everything that was wrong with me, I told myself. And another thing I did was ask myself, I'm like, well, why is it? I'll try to figure out like these bad habits, like, and I'm like, why is it so easy? It's so easy to do bad habits. Why is it so easy to do bad habits? Like, why can't we make the good habits, the easy habits, and the bad habits, the hard habits? And that's before I even started, like, this is during my fast before I started the actual diet back in July of this year. And I guess it worked somewhat. But
Are
even
you a
like,
fan?
hmm,
I was going to ask if you're a fan of that book, Atomic Habits.
no, I haven't read it.
Oh, you should
But
definitely check it out. It's a good book about building good habits, breaking bad
mm,
ones, and how to kind of change your life that way. So you might enjoy it. I'll link to it for all of you who are watching. I'll link to the book below.
yeah, but even with the lap band thing, I had some problems with that because I pretty much for like 2 years, I think it was back in like 2015 or 16, I had to sleep with like um, a wedge pillow on my back to like keep me a little upright because if I would lay down, I would wake up in the middle of the night like choking, like literally felt like I was drowning or something. Like, and I would have to go sit up in the living room on the couch and just sit there until I could feel like I could breathe again. So I had them just loosen it up like all the way, like take everything out of this thing. And I just, because I was still young and I wanted to be able to work out and just drink a whole bottle of water if I wanted to, and just eat what I wanted to eat. If it was bad, it was bad. If it was good, it's good. But I didn't want to deal with that anymore. And I recently went and had a doctor's appointment to talk about getting it removed, because I'm like, well, what's the point if it's just sitting there doing nothing? Like, I want it like out of me. And that's what I'm trying to work on now. But
My mom
it
had the
doesn't
lap
work.
band.
Well, it'll work for some people, but for me, it just, I guess I wasn't mentally ready to keep the weight off, because I still had issues with food. You can still drink as many milkshakes and eat whatever you want. If you want to get something down, you're gonna get it down. And it it just didn't, it wasn't the way that I want to lose weight, because you really don't,
Mhm.
you don't invest in yourself when you do it like that. It kind of, if you really need it, then that's something you can do. But I was just being lazy. I was just taking the easy way out. And I did lose weight. I did get down to like 250 from like, that was the first time when I was like 378, 380. That's when I got down to like what, 250, and then I still gained the weight back. Like, it still came back anyway. And yeah, that
Yeah,
was another
I
thing.
was saying my mom had the lap band surgery and it was not a success at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it, there were all kinds of problems with it for a long time. Like she had difficulty eating
Yeah.
and being able to keep food down. And of course, the things that stayed down easily were ice cream, jelly beans, brownies, and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So, she lost maybe 30 pounds and never really anymore. But the device itself kept causing problems. And I had tried to get her to take it out, but, because of like, I don't know, there was like scar tissue and this and that. So it was like a whole big deal. But, I hope that, your appointment is successful and you're able to do what you want to do with it. Cause, yeah, I was disappointed that it wasn't more successful for her.
Yeah. I thought it would be the answer to everything. I thought like, oh, I was so excited. You get it, and oh, I'm going to be skinny. Like, no, it don't work. Because I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. It works for some people, but it didn't work for me. I didn't know. Like, now I look back and I know, like, I just had an issue with food, lots and lots of food. Like, so this time around, I told myself to treat it, sugar, junk food, all of that stuff. I look at it like crack. I look at it like a drug. Like, it literally, it wouldn't. And I remember times when I lost weight before that I would be like, say if I was 330, and I'd be like, all right, when I get down to 300, I'm gonna try this new chicken spot out over here. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if I was a crackhead and I was like 60 days clean, would I reward myself with a hit of crack? Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. So it's not, I don't know. It's just the whole mindset. Like, if your mind isn't right, then it's not going to work.
You told your mom that when she asked about why you gained the weight, you just
Hmm.
said you were hungry all the
Hmm.
time. So what about now? Are you still hungry all the time or?
Hmm. No. Well, I was hungry today. I was like, I think that's what's messing up my sleep, is that I'm not eating enough. Like, I'll
Mhm.
get up in the morning. I get up in the morning at 4:30. I do my little workout, and then I eat a big breakfast. And then I'll go to work all day, and then I won't eat again until the evening. And I work out every single day. Like, uh-oh, something happened here. Oh, sorry. My phone
It's
just cut
okay.
on. Yeah, so I work out pretty much every day, but it's a short little workout. Like, I do my legs one day, just body weight stuff, and I'll do my upper body the next day. So I still get a break. I still rest those muscles, but I do it every day. That's like my ritual. It's only a 15-minute little thing, and then I do 15 minutes of yoga, but every day I'm doing something. And I think it's just, I'm not running my body down, but I'm not properly eating enough to keep all of that going. And I think that's it's like, it's accumulating, and I could feel it. So today at work, I had this hunger of like, I don't even bring lunch to work because I just know I'm just not going to eat. So I just had this hunger, and I had to tell the supervisor, I'm like, look, I'm hungry. I got to go eat. I need something. And I left and I went to McDonald's. And I always heard about the, ordering the quarter pounder patties and stuff. So I just ordered 4 quarter pounder patties and went back to work, and then I was good. I felt happy after that. I'm like, I need to eat.
Nice.
So that's why I had to
Nice.
try to hurry up and eat something before this. I just had I think I made meatballs, and then I had a ribeye in the air fryer, but I didn't want to eat that too fast, so I'm saving that for later because I wanted to actually enjoy it. So
Hmm. Yeah. So was there any like health problem that you had other than the, just the weight? Was there something else that spurred you to really get serious about your weight and your health this time?
um, this time, what got me going this time? I think I was sitting there. I dropped my kids off at their mother's house, and I was watching them walk in. And then I just started thinking about their graduations and them getting older and marriage and all. And then I was like, thought to myself that I just want to be around for all of that. And then that's kind of got it clicking. And then I had I'd had some labs done for physical and stuff, and my cholesterol was high, triglycerides, my A1C was like 5.8 or something like that. And then that was another thing. Like, so it was just stuff was coming up, and I was kind of ignoring them. And then my blood pressure was high. Like, I hurt my back at work one time. So I go to this little walking clinic thing, and I think my blood pressure was like 180 something over 110. And she's like, "Did you always have high blood pressure?" And I'm like, "No, not really." She's like, "You should go see your primary care." So then I go see my doctor, and he tells me he wants me to take some, Norvasc and take some statins, and I just said no. Like, I don't know what it is with me and medication. I always say no. Like, I just don't want to take them. I'm like, there has to be another way. So I told him that I'm just going to try to change my habits. I'm trying to change my lifestyle. And then that was another time, and I lost weight and then still gained it back with the blood pressure thing because I kind of let it go away. But this time with the kids and the blood pressure and all that combined, it kind of ingrained it in me that I have to change. Like, I was basically tired of being tired. Like, I was just tired of it. Like, I was just tired of it. Like, I was just fed up. And that's sometimes you got to get to that point where you're just fed up. And you
Yeah.
just got to make those decisions.
So your health wasn't in terrible shape, but things
No.
were on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in good shape, but it wasn't like I was knocking on death's door or nothing. Well, not that I know of. But it was I guess that's my blood pressure at that time was pretty high. And you don't know it. Like,
Hmm.
and I always say that things happen for a reason, because
Hmm.
if if I didn't
Sorry.
hurt my back, it's all right. If I didn't hurt my back, I never would have known. I never would have checked up on it. Like, I never would have went to my primary care or just to inquire about it. And even this last go around, um, I got hurt at work. I think I walked outside one night and I slipped on some ice going down this ramp, and I kind of did a split, and I ended up basically tearing my meniscus or something in my knee, and then some old, like, some cartilage or something like that. And then I was out of work for a good almost 6 months, and I had to get surgery. Like, I think my last day of work was in April 16th, 2021. I think I had the surgery in June 10th of 2021. And then I pretty much started what I'm doing now in July of 2021. And at that time, I was around 345, 350 in June. And then I didn't even bother to weigh myself. I was just like, all right, I'm going to start. I wasn't worried about nothing. I already knew the routine. You just try to do this, that, and that. So I had and then I tried in January. They had a weight loss competition at my job. So I think I weighed in at that. I was 342 when I weighed in. So basically, it was like $10 a week. Every person put in, if $5 went to the person who lost the most weight in the week, and they did it by pure weight, like not percentages. So that was probably unfair to them because I could just lose weight easy. So $5 goes to the winner of the week, and then the other $5 carries over, and then that gets a big pot, and at the end, the total winner gets that. So the first week comes, we go to way back into next week, and I had lost 50. I started doing the carnivore thing that week in January, and I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything. All I did was just ate the meat, and then I dropped like 15 pounds of like all pretty much water weight in the first week. And so they gave me the prize money for the first week, and then gave me the rest of the money that I put in for the other weeks, and said, no, thank you. You're not in our group anymore. And they
I
kicked me
know.
out.
I can't believe they let you do it in the first place. I mean, you never have guys compete with women on weight loss.
But it's not, but I mean, it's not my fault that I was like, I at least stuck to something. I'm like watching the people in the group, and I'm looking at them, they walking around with corn chips and Cokes and eating fast food. And I'm just like, well, I, I don't know. Like, how do you expect to lose weight doing that? So,
Well,
but yeah,
that
I
certainly
felt a
is a
little
good
bad.
question. That is a good
Yeah.
question.
I kind of felt rejected. Like, I felt like I'm like on the outside now. Like they kicked me out. It was
No.
demoralizing.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So tell me, did you go straight from the standard American diet to carnivore, or how did you even
No,
hear about
well
carnivore to know to do it?
th- then I did go straight to carnivore, and that's why I lost the 15 pounds in the first week, because it was like all in a toilet. Like it was a lot of stuff going on. So I didn't I think I stopped it because I'm like, oh, I can't keep doing this. Like I didn't know that that was just a phase of it. Like I didn't really know much about it. I just kind of heard about it, but not really researched it. It was just like eat all meat, you lose weight. Like I didn't know the details of it. So I finally gave up on that because it was just too long of just stuff not going right in the bathroom. So that's why I stopped. I said, I can't do this for the rest of my life, but I didn't know that that's what it was going to be like. I didn't know that it wasn't going to be like that for the rest of my life. So I stopped. And then I pretty much started eating again, gained some weight back again. And then when I started in July, I did the carnivore thing for like 2 weeks. And then I went on a 7-day fast. And during that 7 days, I just started looking up like healthy foods. I'm like, what are the healthy foods, superfoods? And I pretty much had this diet of I was eating 93.7 grass-fed beef, salmon, sardines, avocados, a big salad. Um, what else was in there? I think at first I ate some sweet potatoes in the beginning, but then I was like, as I started doing more research, if you can eat those foods, but if you really want to lose weight, you got to cut out the starches. So I cut out the starches. Um, and I pretty much got it down to where it was like a kind of 1,800 calories a day. And I pretty much ate because I didn't feel like counting anything after that. So like the first when I got it down and settled of what I wanted, I kept that mixture the whole way through for like 5 or 6 months. And that led me into like the end of December. And then after when Christmas came, I think I fasted. Christmas was on that Saturday, and I started fasting on Thursday and didn't eat until like Sunday, like after Christmas. And then once I got done that, I started, refeeding like, some bone broth and some eggs. And then I just started going and I started the carnivore diet again. And I think I had like one day of body emptying, I'll call it. And that was it. It wasn't as bad as before. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
one day. And
so it
but
sounds like you were doing kind of a lean keto in the 6 months of last year,
yeah.
having like the fish and the
Mm-hmm.
lean meat, and then
Yep.
the avocado and stuff. Uh-huh.
And the salads, like, and even in the salads, I was started off with like, because you hear what's healthy, and I was putting like mushrooms and kale and all of this stuff. And then I started noticing the stuff that was in the bottom of the salad when I was getting done, and I'm like, I didn't want to eat it. So I just made a rule that I'm not going to eat anything that I don't want to eat. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat. Everything I eat is going to be something that I'm going to enjoy. So I just started taking stuff out and only putting in what I liked in the salad. So it came down to like a spring mix, onions, green peppers, no tomatoes because I was watching videos on nightshades or something, so I didn't have any tomatoes. Um, I would put like a little bit of like chickpeas. What else did I have in there? Celery, and that's oh, and then my whatever my protein was for that day, either the beef or the salmon, I would just throw that on top, like a half a pound or a pound or whatever it was, and then I would just eat that, and I would have this big giant container of a big salad. And I slowly just started towards the end. I noticed that I was getting hungry again. Like I was, because I was losing weight. Like, don't get me wrong, I got down to like, I was in the 250s and then the 240s. And then when I hit 240, I'm like in the gym one day and I'm like walking past the mirror. I was about to go get the sauna and I kind of had a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I like did a double thing. I'm like, is that really me? Like, cause I didn't really look at myself like that. Like, I just looked and I'm like, damn, like this is actually working. Like that was like, I remember seeing the first signs from me of like progress because I see myself every day and it's like you don't really notice all of this stuff. Like even now, I don't. To me, in my head, I feel the same. I just don't feel as heavy and big, but it doesn't like even that one of those pictures that I took when I'm like flexing my arm. That was just because I got done one of my morning workouts and I was trying to record something and I went and I seen myself in the camera and I'm like, damn, I'm like looking at that's me. Like I'm looking at that picture for like days, like looking at it, like, damn. I'm like, that's me. Like I couldn't believe that that was me. Like it's because I just didn't take a lot of pictures of myself or do anything like that. So I was kind of in disbelief at it.
Well, it's pretty impressive. I don't know if you built that with 15 minutes a day, but it's pretty impressive that you
No,
can
I was
maintain
in
that with 15 minutes a day.
no,
I mean,
that's
wow.
the routine. So basically throughout that whole process, it wasn't like I just jumped in and everything was going right. Like I had so many things that I had to change and try to make easier and work it down to something like in my mind I wanted it to be something sustainable. Like I didn't want to do something like I didn't want to be at the gym for 2 hours after work every day. Like that just to me that wasn't sustainable. Like as far as having to pick up my kids from school sometimes or do all that and then getting home at 8 o'clock at night because I have to take them home and then come back to my town. And that just wasn't something I wanted to do. So that's when I started doing the I think in January, I started doing my little routine. And at first it was, a total body routine every other day. And then I switched it to splitting it and just doing something every day. But even when I was going to the gym, I was going to the gym every single day. But I wasn't like lifting weights every day. Like my cardio day was just walking. I think I ran like maybe 3 times and then I just walked. Because when I run it, if my knee starts hurting, I just don't. And I didn't want to do anything that caused me pain. So if I did something and I felt pain, I didn't do that. I only did stuff that I wanted to do and stuff that didn't hurt me. And that's pretty much what I stuck to. And if you were there, like if somebody was working out with me, I wasn't doing it really. I wasn't in there panting and breathing hard and sweating profusely and grunting and grinding it out. I was just doing the exercises, trying to do it with form and just doing it right and just getting a workout. Like I wasn't killing myself. Like I said, my cardio days consisted of walking. I would go, I would have spa days where I would just go to the gym. I would get in the hot tub. I would get in the sauna. I would stretch, but I would go. Like that was my thing. I have to go every single day. Because if I start trying to make excuses like, I think I'm just going to stay home today. And then that might lead into, all right, I'm going to stay home another day. And then that might lead into, all right, I'll just go start back up next month. Like I didn't want to get into that habit. So now it's down to everything is just automatic. Like it's like I don't even think about it. It's like you're lessening the decisions you have to make. So I, my decisions, it's just less decisions. The less decisions you have to make in a day to do something, the more likely you're going to do it. Like I didn't come home from work and then have to come and get my gym bag, get changed and go to the gym. I would pack my bag and then put it in the car. And then when I leave work, I just drive straight to the gym. So that's one less decision I got to make of stopping home and am I going to get back out the house and go to the gym? I didn't have to make that decision. Or I would go on vacations. I went to see my best friend, like in Ohio. I went to see him and I packed a cooler and I made my meal prep for like every day that I was going to be there. And I came with this cooler, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "Look, man, this is my food. This is what I'm doing." And he tried to get me to eat some certain things and do stuff, but I didn't. I think I caved in once, but it was more of a, I had a salad at a restaurant and I asked about dressings. Do they have any dressings? Because I didn't like eating. I was making my own dressings at one point because I didn't trust any of the dressings in the stores. And I think I ended up getting like a little salad, and then I just put oil and vinegar on it. And I don't even know what kind of vinegar it was. They said, I mean, not the oil, like the olive oil. I didn't know what kind of olive oil it was, but it was better than whatever salad dressing that they had back there. So that was like me cheating, or like me eating. One time at my brother's, I had barbecue sauce on some ribs, and that to me felt like I was cheating in my little low carb whatever diet. I don't even know what the diet was because I didn't have a name for it. I just ate food that I thought was healthy. So so once I get my head locked in on something, I'm pretty strict at what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. That's all I could do.
Well, that's awesome. But tell me, so it sounds like you have done two extended fasts. One earlier, well, I guess in the fall of last year, and then um, again right before Christmas or over
Hmm.
Christmas. So, what made you decide to do an extended fast, or what were you trying to accomplish?
I don't know. I got into fasting like I think it was around 2015. I think I somehow I looked up. I just Googled how do we get fat, and then and Dr. Jason Fung popped up, and he was talking about the two compartment theory or whatever, and I started watching that, and it made sense. It's like we're meant to use our fat stores, but we just never get to it. It's like we're always just eating and eating, storing fat, storing fat, storing fat, but never get into that other compartment to get it out. So I started playing around with fasting. And then there was one time I watched what's that guy? Cole something, the snake
Oh
diet
yeah, the
dude.
snake juice diet
Yeah,
guy.
so
Yeah,
I was
Cole
watching
Robert.
him one day back then, and then he just said, just stop eating and just do it. Just go on a 72-hour fast. So I did it. I had to work one weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and I just didn't eat. And I was like, damn, I was surprised. I had all this energy. I'm at work just walking around, just getting steps in for no reason, just walking. And I'm like, then I realized like you don't have to eat all the time. Like, I mean, it's good to eat, but you're not going to die basically if you don't eat. And that's how I got into fasting. So I like fasting sometimes because it's a good tool to have too. I use it as a tool. So if I go somewhere and there's no food, and I don't have to be forced to eat anything there. It's not like I have to pick something, or if I go somewhere, somebody's house or whatever, I just don't eat. So that's what I use it for sometimes. Oh, and also
Well,
that long fast, it was because I found that when you go on a long fast, it kind of resets your palate. Like you kind of, the foods when you eat again, they're different. Like the foods that you thought were nasty, now they taste better. Like, and you don't, you kind of, you're more conscious of what you're putting into your body after you get done. It's kind of like a reset for me. But I don't do like those 7 day fasts like a lot. Like I might do like one or two a year type thing for 7 days. And there it's like you kind of go on autopilot. It's like your body just, I mean, you can't go out working hard and doing crazy stuff. You can walk and talk. So, that's about it. If you try to do more than that, you might pass out.
well,
And
Jason Fung was a supporter of low carb diets. So, did you try to do low carb before, or was this your first time like
no, I
eating
was
that
just
way?
when I got into fasting, it was I remember talking to my the lady from one of my bariatric appointments. And I said, "Oh yeah, she's like, you're losing weight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm starting to fast now." And she asked me what I was eating. And I remember telling her, I said, I had two cheeseburgers, I had a slice of pepperoni pizza, I had some Doritos fries, and then I'm like, "Oh, and I had some ice cream." I said, "But I'm fasting though, so I can eat whatever I want." Like that's where my mind was back then. It's like, you don't educate yourself, you don't know. So you only know what you know. And to me, that was the right thing, but I didn't know that it wasn't. until I found out it wasn't.
Well, I always find fasting is much easier when I'm like already in ketosis, but to
Hmm.
try to do it after eating ice cream and Doritos and stuff,
Yeah.
every time I'm like, oh shoot, I'll start tomorrow. Let me go get some more ice cream.
Yeah, but then I would I was going like these like whole food type diets, like where it's like nothing processed, no processed food. And then I would see that there were better outcomes with that. But then eventually, something would come up, like you go to a funeral and then there's a repast or something, and you eat a plate of food, and then you go up and eat another plate of food, and then another plate of food, and then you're like, all right, I'll start back on Monday. And then okay, Monday comes, all right, I'll start tomorrow. And then all right, I'll just start next week. And then you end up not even saying you're going to start back again. You just go back into the cycle again. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess.
Well, you've put a lot of energy and work into, losing weight and really being very focused. But what
Hmm.
might you have done had you not had to worry about your weight?
Hmm. I couldn't even tell you because I don't know. Like what do you mean like if I wasn't big? Like what would I be doing?
I mean, sure, because like now you found a way to eat that works for you, that you're losing
I'm
weight, you
trying to
have
think.
energy, your
Cuz
mind is clear. So, what will you do? I mean, how will you occupy your time now that you are not
my
encumbered
time
with?
my time now is mostly spent trying to learn about myself, my body, and how it works, and what foods do when they get into your body. Like, how does protein break down? How does just things just happen? Like, why is if my cholesterol goes up or LDL goes up or HDL goes, it's just, I want to know like exactly what's going on inside there. And I wish they had some kind of chip that they could put inside me and then just figure it all out. Everybody's always like, oh, I don't want to get a chip in me. So give me a chip. I want to know what's going on in there. Somebody invent a chip that's going to tell me what's going on in my body. I want to be chipped.
Well,
Pretty much.
maybe you need to get a CGM, a continuous glucose
Yeah, I've
monitor.
been thinking about trying to figure out a way to get that through insurance. I think when I go to the doctors, I might tell them something like, I think I'm having like nocturnal hypoglycemia. I think I need a CGM to monitor my glucose levels while I'm sleeping and stuff. Because that's what I think is happening to me when I'm sleeping now. Because when I wake up at 1 in the morning, it's like my heart rate is increased, and I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. And I've read about it, and it said it's something like your glucose is getting low, so your body kind of releases a bunch of sugar to get you to wake up, to get up, so you have sugar in your blood, I guess. And so I don't know exactly what's going on, but it kind of makes sense, and it happens like clockwork every night. So I'm hoping I'm going to
Wait,
eat
what time does it
more
happen?
around one, in between 1 and 1:30, like clockwork every night. I could go to bed at 8. it I'll wake up, and I don't even want now. I don't want to look at the clock. I'm like, I don't want to look at the clock. If I look at the clock, now I'm going to be up all night long. So I try to just stay there and keep my eyes shut and just sleeping. But I just pretty much just sit there awake, laying in bed like all night long. And I get up at 4:30, and I might fall back to sleep at like 4:15, and then my alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh.
Wait,
So
what
it's
time do you normally get up?
4:30.
Huh. And what's your blood glucose, your fasted blood glucose in the morning?
I haven't checked it in the morning. Sometimes I'll get to work and I'll check it, and it'll be like 80 like when I didn't eat breakfast. And then I would check it again. Like I would sometimes check it right before lunch, and I'll check it, it'll be 80. And then I'll eat lunch and check it a half hour later, and it'll be 82. And that's when I was eating like, just meat, and it would go up 2 points. And I think my fasting, the last time I did it, it was like 95, like through the lab. And I don't know if it's because I'm not eating enough food, because I feel like
Well,
I should
I
eat
mean,
more.
I was wondering, well, so I'm not a doctor, so I'm just
Me neither.
asking questions asking questions, but the high heart rate can also be an electrolyte thing, and
Yeah.
that's what happens to me when my electrolytes are off. So I'll know that because my heart rate gets faster. So if you're waking up because of that, it might be that you need more electrolytes, not
And
that
I was
you.
drinking, like I started drinking, I was making that, I got the ingredients for that, the snake juice. This, which is basically an electrolyte mix. And it has the, I think he has some, the sodium. I put the salt in there, the magnesium, potassium, and then some baking soda or something like that. And I was drinking that, I would make a big bottle of that and drink it throughout the day. And it's still, I don't feel like it's doing anything because I drink it and
I
I don't want to
I found
overdo it.
Well, I found that it didn't work for me. I felt that it was actually not strong enough, so I was drinking more water than I needed to without enough electrolytes.
Mm,
So different people respond to different, different mixes. So I would try some different brands and see,
mm,
see how they do. So Keto Chow is another brand that people use. Let's see, Element. It's spelled LMNT. Is another one. That one's kind of expensive, but it does seem to work really well for people. The formulation seems to be really good. And there's some other ones on Amazon that that I've used and I've liked. So I would try that.
I
And
would look into it.
also, how much salt do you put on your food? Because if you more
I put a
liberally
lot of
salt your
salt.
food.
I put a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of salt on there. And I walk around with the rock salts, the coarse salts, the pink salts in my pocket. And I'll just put some of that under my tongue every once in a while. And I'll put salt in the water, but not enough to where I can taste it because I don't want to just be drinking salty water all day. So I just put some in there so there is some in there, but occasionally I'll just put a little pinch of that under my tongue.
I mean, I kind of like the way it tastes. So when I started drinking plain sparkling water, like it actually tastes better to me when I can taste salt in
Mm,
it. So, you might
yeah,
like that. But I would just try some different mixes. Like the snake juice, it's okay for some people and other people it's not enough.
mm,
So I would just try something different. But I would wonder if that's more of what the problem is than your blood glucose getting too low in the middle of the night. But
yeah,
also when you check your blood glucose, you should check it the very first time you check it should be like as soon as you wake up, even before you go to the bathroom, before you like get out of bed. That
okay,
moment is when you want to check it. And but I don't know what it might say because you're getting up at 4:30, and for some people, your body releases more sugar at the beginning of the sort of wake up cycle, which usually for a lot of people begins around 4:30. And
okay,
your body sort of naturally starts ramping up to wake up, beginning at that time. And so some people who check their blood sugar, their fasted blood sugar at like 6 a.m. will find that their blood sugar is it's a little high, or it's more high than they're expecting, and it can be because of this thing that they call the dawn effect.
yeah,
So I'd be curious to see what the number is at 4:30, because by the time you're at work, it's down to normal, but it might be
mm,
higher first thing in the morning. But that would give you more information to kind of understand what's happening.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll try to figure it out. I'm like,
But you
it's
could
hard to
also
get, it's
not
hard to
be.
get good help with it because you can't, your
Yeah.
doctor won't tell you nothing. And then you got to find a doctor that's kind of supportive of what you're doing and not just want to give you a pill for every little thing that's going on. Like, here, this is what's happening here. Take this pill. Or this is what's happening. Take this pill. And then what, you want me to just take pills for the rest of my life? Like, I don't want to be like that. So,
Yes, they do want you to take pills for the rest of your life. That's exactly what they want to do.
and then I get
Um,
scared sometimes of, what happens if I go back to what I was doing before. Like, I had this one moment, like on the when I used to go to the gym, I was on a treadmill, and I was I usually set a time, like, 45 minutes or something with the walk or whatever. And sometimes if I get it in my head that I would just want to stop, oh, it's 28 minutes, so I don't feel like going on anymore. I'll put on like some motivational like compilation or something like that and listen to that, and that'll get me going. So there's one day, I don't know if you remember the pictures that I posted up, but it was the one with me in the gray shirt when I was really big and I was standing on the mountain or something. And that face, I was picturing that face, that person, and he was in a hole and he was trying to get out of the hole. And it was like me now, like standing there on top of him, and I had a shovel and I was just beating him in the head. And it was just like, and I'm in the gym and I'm on the treadmill walking, and I got tears coming down my eyes because I'm like, he was a nice guy, but he was just lazy. Like, and it was like in my head, that's how I killed that version of me. Like that person doesn't exist. And I said, from now on, anything that happens from now on is like what I want it to be. Like, and that's how I kind of had to look at it. It's like you have to get rid of that person. Like I mean, I'm not saying I'm a totally different, I was a nice guy, now I'm a mean guy type thing. No, I'm still the same person, but that mentality is not in my head anymore. Like I just don't believe in that anymore. I mean, I know it's kind of
Well,
graphic.
let's have some
But
compassion for the let's have some compassion for the guy. Like he didn't know. There's a lot of
yeah,
stuff
I
that
know.
now about food, and and I often talk about sugar addiction and like how these foods are themselves, addictive, and certainly sugar and also processed foods are
Oh
designed
yeah.
to make us want to eat more. So I have to have compassion for, the old me who didn't know that and thought that I should be able to eat a few Oreos and stop. And,
Mm,
now I
no,
know that
that's not
that's
happening.
not possible.
I could never do that. I would have to eat. No, it would be like I can eat the first row and then come back and get the next row and then be like, oh, well, there's only one row left. I might as well eat that one too. The next thing you know, the whole pack is gone in like one sitting. Or like sitting there eating a tub of icing, like cake icing was just crazy. I just don't even know.
I never hear anybody say that. And I'm like, I so did that. I would
Yeah.
buy Duncan Hines frosting and eat
Hmm.
the can. Oh
And then
man,
I
good
would,
times.
it was scary. Like after you get done, and I'm like, oh God, I hope I don't die or something. But in the moment, hey, it was good. But that's something when I think back, that's when I know, like you are addicted to this stuff. Like there's no way you just sit there and do that if something's not wrong. Like not everybody does that. Like it's not like a like there's people that can take a spoon and just take a little bit of that and be done with it. But that's not us. Like there's people who just can't stop doing it. Like that's just how it is. You got to
Yeah,
figure
and
out
it's
how to
good to
stop.
stop asking, a lot of times we spend a lot of time, in therapy and like trying to understand why we can't. And at a certain point, it's just better to just stop asking that question. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. Like biologically, that's just how it is. And then, move forward.
And the simple thing is, I hear a lot of people ask, well, how do you stop? How do you stop eating the sugar? Like, how do you stop? Like, there is no easy answer. You just have to stop. Like, that's the only way you're going to stop is to stop. And the only way you're going to start changing is to start. So if you never start, you're never going to change. And even if you start and then you stop again, you have to start back up. Like, you got to keep going. As if you stop, that means you just gave up. And I was having a conversation with this one guy at the gym. He said he used to be like 500 pounds. He got down to 300. Now he's back to 400. Then oh, he's like, I'm just done. I'm just tired of it. I'm not even going to do it anymore. And I went home and I'm just like talking to my wife about it. I'm like, so he just gave up on himself. Like he just quit. Like he's just done. Like he pretty much accepted it and he's just going to die just like that. Like he stopped. And I said, I can't quit. Cause even before this time when I lost weight, I said, if I gain weight back again, it's like, I'm done. I quit. But I didn't. But that's the mentality you got to have. You just can't quit. Like if you quit, then you quit on yourself, you quit on your life. That's it. So even if you give in, like you're doing something good and you give in, you start over. You got to start over. Eventually, you'll get tired of starting over, and then you'll just keep going. And another thing that I did this time was my wife. She's like a sugar junkie. She's a carb junkie, and she doesn't. So there would be stuff around the kitchen, like, and she buys in bulk. So there's like a laundry basket, like full of chocolates. There's the gummy things in the big containers. She bought Pez candy by the 5-pound bag because it was a good deal. So all of this stuff is like sitting there, like it's in the kitchen, this whole process that I'm going through. And I remember walking through the kitchen sometimes and I'm like, damn, this is like a war zone. It's like, this is my little war zone in here. I'm like seeing all this stuff and it's like the temptation's there. But then eventually, I mean, months passed and I was at the microwave one day and I'm like looking up and I'm like, damn, that same bag of Doritos is still sitting up there. Like, yeah, I forgot about it. So when I see people say that they're hiding stuff or they take it away, I'm like, no, leave it there. Leave it there so you can see it every day. And if you're going to start something and like say you're going to break, you want to break on day 2 or 3 or the first day instead of getting a month out because you hid everything and now you see it and now you break. Like you got to get used to it. You got to get, it's like you kind of working out your brain, like you work out your body. You got to work out your brain to ignore that stuff. And now I walk past it. I don't even look at it as food anymore. I don't even, it's just not, it's just stuff to me. Like I think at work, somebody gave me a Valentine's chocolate. But at the time when she called me into the office, I got it and I walked back to my floor. And then when I got back to the floor, I looked at it. And I'm like, oh, she gave me some chocolate. Like I didn't look at it as chocolate when she handed it to me. I just looked at it as she's giving me a gift. But then because I just didn't see it as food like chocolate, so I gave it to somebody else and let them eat it. Should have threw it away, but oh well.
So what does your wife think of the way you're eating? Does she support it? Does she do it? And let's also
Uh,
hear like what your day-to-day food looks like. What do you eat?
Day to day, well, my wife, she doesn't eat what I eat. She likes the progress of what I did. She yeah, she likes the outcome, but she doesn't like the food that I eat. She doesn't like fat, pretty much. She said it makes her gag. So if she gets a brisket from a smokehouse or barbecue place, she'll give me all the fatty pieces, and like I'm the little dog sitting next to her, like here, I don't want this. And she
Oh my
gives me
God, you're
the
so lucky. You're so
she gives
lucky.
me the fatty pieces, so I eat that. And then what was the other question about? It was the wife and
Well, what do you eat? Like what is your
oh, what do I eat
day-to-day
in a day?
carnivore look like?
So this morning I woke up and I have like the ground beef and I get some pasture pork from this farm down the street and I think I bought like 7 pounds the last time I went down there and it just makes the pork. I mean, it just makes the ground beef and pork, that mixture is just like that breakfast sausage burger type. Oh, it's so good. So I'll eat like 12 ounces of that because try to measure everything out just so I can, you know, just grab it out the fridge. Like I don't feel like having a big thing of meat and just trying to rip from it all the time. So I want to prepare it, like pre-make it or whatever. And I'll have some sardines, 3 eggs, some bacon, one piece of like a breakfast sausage thing, and what else? Oh, I was doing chicken. I would do like chicken thighs, and I would bake them. I like them crispy. So that's usually breakfast, but I kind of got tired of the chicken, so I stopped eating the chicken this past week. But I did have this one day where I ate breakfast one day and then I didn't eat all day, and I was going to fast the whole next day. See, I got to stop this fasting thing. I got to eat food. So breakfast was bone broth. I called it a scavenger. After I got done, I was like, that's like a scavenger meal. So I had bone broth and I took the chicken skin off of the chicken. I took the bone out and I put the bone and the skin in the air fryer and I just cooked that. And I sat there and just ate the bone and I ate the skin and I had the bone broth.
Wait, I'm sorry. So wait,
And that was my scavenger meal.
how did you eat chicken bone? You mean you ate the bone or you
I
suck
ate
out the
my
marrow
rule.
or
My rule is in carnivore: if you can chew it, you can eat it. So like the air fryer kind of dried it out a little bit, so it was more crunchier. You can eat it. Like I chewed it up and just ate it. And I guess I was still a little hungry. That's what made me keep on chewing on it. So I just chewed the bone and ate the bone, and I like eating. I'll eat every single part of the meat or whatever, anything, whatever I put in my mouth. And if I could chew it and get it down, then I eat it. If I can't chew the bone, I just don't eat it. But if it's chewable, it's edible. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Okay. I like that rule. That's awesome. So how many pounds would you say you eat in a day?
Some weeks it fluctuates. Like one week I was eating like a pound of ground beef and a ribeye for breakfast with the eggs and sardines and chicken. And I do remember there was one time where I couldn't finish the chicken. I had the chicken last and I just couldn't finish one of the legs. And that was one of those, like, I ate so much that I was like, I don't ever want to eat again moments. Like it was like because and then you got to do that sometimes because you got to learn what it's like to really be full, and what can satisfy you and what still leaves you hungry sometimes. Like, and it's, I don't know, it's I think it's
How
good. It's good to get to know your body pretty much and your limits and
Mhm.
stuff.
So how many meals do you normally eat in a day, or do you do one meal
Usually two, but on the days like when I do my upper body day, like I'll do in the morning, I'll do the, the like some push-ups, pike push-ups, this Superman thing, and then like some almost like shoulder shrugs, but in the plank position type thing. And then when I get off work, I bought this pull-up bar thing that you put, over your door. And so I hung that up one day and I'm just staring at it and I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to conquer this thing because I'm not a pull-up person. So on those days, on upper body days, when I come home, I try to do pull-ups. I'll do pull-ups. I'll do like pull stuff. So the morning is push stuff, and then in the afternoon is pull. And then the leg day, I'll just do the legs in the morning, and that's it. So usually I would just eat once on that day, my leg day, and then on the other day I would eat twice. So I pretty much eat after I work out every time. But I think I'm going to start trying to eat 3 times a day and not eat such big meals in the morning, but still eat a nice meal in the morning, but still eat throughout the day instead of waiting for certain times to eat, and
Well,
pretty
do
much
you
stop the
feel
fasting.
hungry, or do you feel hungry, or do you feel like
I
through the
feel
day you're not hungry?
I get a little hungry like around lunchtime, but I drink some water or salt, it goes away. But I could eat. I could eat if I had food, I would eat it, but I just don't bring any, so I didn't eat nothing. But I think I'm going to start eating more more
Are
times.
you are you trying to lose more weight, or are
Not
you now where you were, like where you want to be?
I wouldn't say I'm trying to lose weight. It's more of me thinking that if I lift weights or if I do some activity and then I have to have protein or something afterwards, like I think I need to get that steady flow of food going throughout the whole day and see if that helps with my rest and that feeling of, I guess I guess I am kind of hungry. So that's why today, like at work, I just had to eat something. And then I couldn't wait to get home to eat again. And now I got that steak sitting up there. I'm gonna go eat that afterwards and have some eggs on top of that. Oh, and there's some bacon left too. So I'm having that too.
Well, it does
Yeah.
sound like you are hungry and you need some more
I feel
food.
like I need to refeed pretty much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had that. That's one of the mistakes I made at the beginning when I first started. Like I was like, oh, I can eat every other day. Like I was eating one meal every other day. So one week on the second week that I was doing it, the days that I lifted weights, they landed on the days that I wasn't eating. So I got through Monday, I got through Wednesday on my lifting day, no eating, and then Friday was leg day. And I did that. I came home and I got in bed and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And I just had this feeling. I was like, I felt so hungry. I felt like if I went to sleep, I felt like I wasn't going to wake up. Like that's how drained and hungry my body felt. I got out of bed and just started cooking at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I got to eat something. I need to eat. And that's that kind of that feeling that I had today. It was like I had to eat, and then I'm like, man, I need to start eating more. Like I got to eat more food because I just
That
don't.
day, the night that you started cooking at 10 o'clock at night, did you wake up at 1 a.m. with that racing heart? And how did you sleep through that night?
No, I slept through that night. So when I was doing the really low carb thing, I think I was eating. I was eating a lot in the evenings because I would skip breakfast and just eat like lunch, and then I would eat like around 6 or 7. But now I'm eating at 5:30 in the morning, and then I'll eat again a lighter meal at like 4ish, 5ish when I get home or whatever. And that's what I've been doing. But now I kind of, it's like you think you have stuff figured out, and then you don't. So it's like you got to keep changing, you got to keep evolving. And I even for a couple of days I'm thinking, because I've seen Saladino talking about the honey and the fruit and all of that stuff. So I'm like, well, maybe I need a little bit of fruit. So I went and bought some blueberries and strawberries, and I put them in little baggies. I measured them out and I labeled the bags like, okay, this is, and I didn't do the net carbs or nothing like that. I said, this is 10 carbs in this bag. This is 8 carbs of blueberries. And so for 2 days, I was like eating that in the morning before I worked out. And then I think that kind of helped me because that made me hungrier. And that's when I realized, I said, I need to eat. Like simple as that. I just need to eat more food. So I'm not going to do that part anymore. I'm just going to try to eat more meat and just see if that helps, because I think I'm kind of slowly starving myself. I think I need to eat some more food.
Well,
I
I
mean, I'm
mean,
still eating a lot, but I think for
yeah,
me, for my body, I need to eat more than what I'm eating, because I
yeah.
I that whole process of losing weight, I kept the same amount of food the whole time. And I think that building up the muscle made me want to eat more. And that's pretty much how I got into the carnivore, because I noticed that I was having these cravings like starting around in end of November, December. Like, and I started eating fruit then. And I would eat, all right, it was like my rule was an apple, one fruit. I can have a fruit. That was my dessert. And then eventually it turned into I was having 2 apples, 2 Asian pears. Then I'll get back up, have 2 bananas. Like it was like, and then so I'm like, I didn't like that feeling. And I'm like, this has to change. I don't like that feeling of trying to eat something and you don't want to eat anymore, but you still get up and eat it again. I don't like that. That's why I quit coffee, because I noticed that it was a pattern. I started getting coffee. I'm not like a really serious coffee drinker. Like I would, if I go without coffee for a while, I'll like go on a long road trip or something, and then I have to get some coffee. But then I'll get some coffee the next day, and then the next day, and then I'll go to work, and I'll have to. Then I notice that I'm getting coffee before work every day, and I'm like, all right, why am I? This is turning into a habit. I don't want it to be a habit, so I just stopped, and now I don't drink it anymore for now.
Well,
So
so I mean, your body has changed a lot. Now, how much do you weigh now, if you don't mind sharing?
now, this Monday, I usually weigh in on Mondays, and I was 213.8. And
Wow, wait a minute. So you've lost from your highest weight. I can't really do the math, but that's a lot, from 378 to
yeah,
213 at six
it's a
three.
lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And
And so you are at your, you're at your prime weight. I mean,
I
you're
don't
where
know.
you're
I don't
supposed
know
to
what
be,
my
right?
prime weight is. So I just said I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing and then I said my body will figure out where it's supposed to be. Like I still don't have a goal weight. I look at my BMI thing and it says that my BMI, like my ideal weight should be like 195. And I'm like, damn, I look like a crackhead or something at 195. I don't want to be 195.
Well,
So
yeah. So it sounds like, but at 213, like you're right about where you need to be.
yeah, I mean, I
So
like the weight I am.
yeah.
I could fluctuate in between this weight, 213, 220. Like I don't mind. It's to me, it's all the same. But I feel uh, like even I had to buy a bunch of new scrubs, and like my scrubs were like 5X's. I had these 5X scrubs, and now I'm wearing like a large. And now the larges are like, I'm like, damn, I should have got a medium, but now it's like they're getting a little loose. So I don't know. I'll stay this way for a while until I save up enough money to buy a whole new set of scrubs or something. But I mean, I kind of like the weight I am, but I still want to. I think I still need to eat more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right because you're, basically now you're figuring out maintenance and what
Mm,
your body needs when you're losing weight is different from what it needs when you're maintaining weight. So,
yeah.
now you can't tap into your body stores to supplement what you're to supplement what you're eating every day. So you have to get all of your energy requirements and everything from what you're eating every day. So, it's different.
Yeah.
What if you added more fat? I mean, have you tried having, like beef fat trimmings or
Yes. I have that three
pork fat?
pounds of it. I got the I have some upstairs. It was frozen. I took some out, and that's what I'm gonna eat with my steak. I'm gonna put it in the air fryer and have some crispy fat because I
Oh,
like it.
I'm
It's
so
pretty good.
jealous. So
I thought
jealous.
about trying to eat it raw one day, but I'm not there yet. But I ate some raw liver. Um, I like liver. I like it. I hear a lot of people say they don't like it, but I remember the first time I ate it on the carnivore thing. I'm like, I made sure that I was hungry in the morning, and it was the first thing I ate. And I told myself, I said, if I don't like it, like if I'm not supposed to eat it, I'm not going to like it. And I ate it, and it was good. Like I liked it. It tasted good at that moment. But I haven't tried to eat it after I'm already done my meal type thing. But I eat it first, and it tastes good when I eat it first. And
Yeah, that's the way you're supposed to do it. And I love your philosophy. Like, you need to like everything that you're eating. And if you don't
hmm
like it, don't eat it. So that's
yeah,
great.
I mean, I've been thinking about I hear people eating brain and all this other stuff, but I mean, I have no idea what it tastes like. I heard the brain is mostly made of fat. So if you like fat, you might like the brain. You just might not want to eat it because it's a brain, but you have no idea what it tastes like. So it's like one of them things like, oh, I don't want to eat that, but how do you know? You never had it. So you
Well, I
never
felt
know.
that way about bone marrow, and boy, was I wrong. I think
Yeah.
that's about my favorite thing to eat. So, don't judge a, book by its cover.
And I used to order, I used to get liverwurst from the deli sometimes. I wouldn't get it all the time, but every once in a while, I would always get like a little quarter pound of liverwurst and make a nice big liverwurst sandwich. And I liked it, but I wouldn't buy it by the pound or nothing like that. But I just had this taste for it every once in a while. So maybe I think I needed it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. So, it sounds like you're doing really well and, you've achieved your goals. And so you've been doing carnivore since
Like
since
end
right
of
after
December.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think you'll continue on with it, or do you think you'll eventually start adding in, some vegetables, even if you keep things low
Um,
carb?
I think if anything, I add in some maybe an avocado or something like that, like different types of fat. But I like it. I just like the way it makes me feel. I like the way it doesn't I don't have those urges to like I didn't have any like autoimmune stuff going on or any kind of like, things to fix type thing other than an addiction to sugar. That's pretty much it. And I feel like I don't have that anymore. Like I even they had a today was actually my last day at work at my job and they had what is it? The cake, they did the cake and the cupcakes, all that stuff. And then I was in the nourishment room and I seen the sodas that they had in the bottle, and I turned it around and read it, and it said the serving size was 12 ounces, and it had 39 grams of sugar, and it said 78% of the daily allowance. And I'm like, God, I said they trying to kill us.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really think
Well,
they are trying to kill us with that stuff. Because that's another funny thing that happened before I started. I did that 7-day fast. I looked up all the healthy foods, went shopping, got into the line, and I looked to the left, and I'm like, Tic Tacs and gum and what are those? Those are Skittles. And I look right, you got the Hershey's, you got the Kit Kats, you got the Reese's bars. And I said to myself, I said, they really trying to kill us. Like they don't want us to do good. They want us to eat all of this stuff. And it's just crazy that it's just to just sit there and look at it and see that people are getting limbs chopped off, going blind, dying, just all of these diseases. And it's like you don't even see it. It's just like it's almost like we're the cattle we think we're eating cattle. It's like we're the cattle of the American economy. Like we consume the food, then we consume the medication, and we're the, that force driving everything. And it's like, it's kind of weird sometimes when I think about it, and you see people, and me being there and knowing what I know about being big, I know they know, because some people, you're huge, and people think you, just because you got a smile on your face, that everything's all good and you just feeling good. And it's like, no. Like, I talked to my wife about it. I said, you don't understand what it was like. Like, you don't know what I was thinking. I might have been happy and smiling, but I had this constant feeling of impending doom. Like going to bed at night and thinking, I hope I wake up in the morning. Or like going on vacation and it's like, oh God, I hope I don't have a heart attack on this boat. Like, you think about it a lot, and it's hard. So you got the mental stuff going on, you got the physical pain, it's not good. Like, you try your hardest to put on that mask, to put on that face, but it's not somewhere you need to be. And I just wish that people would just wake up. Like, you got to wake up, and you got to, I don't know, you got to make those decisions, and you got to start. Like, you can't just be sitting there looking at other people and just saying, oh gosh, I want to do that. Like, no, you have to start. Like, if you don't start, it ain't ever going to happen. It don't matter how long you think about it. If you don't start, it ain't going to happen. So you just got to start, try to finish. And then you got to
Well,
ask yourself something. Like, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be a consumer and just consume all of their products? Or do you want to be a human being and just eat real food? Like, you just make your choice. That's all. I want to be a human, so I want to eat food.
well, that is actually incredibly insightful and inspiring. And I hope that everybody who is watching this and listening to this is, really takes those words to heart, because I think you're right. We are a product, and,
Mhm.
I don't think they want us dead. I think they want us sick for a very long time.
No,
And,
they don't care if we die either, because there'll be somebody else coming up, and now they're starting off even younger. So it's getting,
mhm.
they're going to run out of cattle pretty soon, because they're starting, starting young now. Jesus Christ.
I know, I know. Well, so if folks want to follow you or ask you questions, where can they, connect with you? Where would you like to send them?
I don't. I mean, I'm on Facebook. I have an Instagram, but I'm not like on it. Like, I'm just like, I just go check out my family every once in a while. But I'm on Facebook. So if you want to see me on Facebook, you can send me a message. But I can't answer every single question or respond. There are a couple people that I respond to now that I really try to help and just try to encourage them. That's all I try to do. I mean, I don't know. I just want them to do good. Like, if I'm not going to say anybody's names, but there's, somebody that I've been chatting with on Messenger, and it's like, I just try to give them encouragement. I want them to do good. I want them to start. And then, you get through day one, you get to day two. And get through day two, you get to day three. You just keep stacking it on. And that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You can't get to year three if you ain't got past day two yet. So
Well, people are very inspired by you. I posted your before and after on my Instagram
mm,
today, and there's a lot of people who are really, just so inspired and impressed by you. So for everyone who has questions or just wants to tell Frank how proud they are of him, I will put a link in the description below. And Frank, you handle your social media,
yeah.
as you can. But thank you
But
so much for coming. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that I don't know. I just want people to just want to do better. Like, that's all. Just, I mean, I was that person. I'm that regular dude. I was that guy looking at the other people doing what they doing, and I thought, like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I was you. Like, I was that person that was doing that. I'm not nobody special. I'm just a regular dude. I'm divorced, remarried, 3 kids, work a regular job. I'm nobody special. I don't have a YouTube channel or none of that stuff. I'm just me. So I'm the regular dude that just wanted to change something. So everybody, like, it's not something hard. You think it might be hard. Well, like I say, it's not going to be easy, but you can make it easy. And that's but you have to figure it out. Nobody's going to do it for you. There is no quick answer. There is no quick solution. You just have to wrap your mind around it and just get to it and just start it. That's all. Like, there's no easy fix.
Well, that is incredibly inspiring. And so for everybody watching, know that you are, you have the ability to do this too. Frank is a regular person who lives a regular life and was able to achieve what he's achieved. And I know all of you who are listening right now can do the same. So I really encourage you. And thanks a lot, Frank. And for everybody, I will see you next week.
All right. I'll go back and watch some more of your videos.